Welcome back, scholars. Today we're going to do some practice with dictionaries and glossaries. Now, I'm sure you've used dictionaries and glossaries before. I know at school when we have our leveled readers, there are so many glossaries in the back of those. In our Meet Michigan book, we have glossaries. And in our classrooms, we have dictionaries and glossaries for you to explore and learn all about. So today we're going to do some practice with dictionaries and glossaries. Now, they're very similar in how they work, but there are a few tiny differences between them. So first we're going to think about a dictionary. A dictionary is going to be its own book. Now you can have dictionaries that are like this big or like gigantic. Some of them are like multiple books. But usually when we think about a dictionary, it's its own book. And in that book, it has all of the words you can think of, and they're going to be listed in alphabetical or ABC order. So you're going to find apple at the beginning and zebra at the end because they're all going to be in ABC order. Now the cool thing about a dictionary is it doesn't just like say the word. It'll give you the word. It'll tell you how you pronounce it. It'll tell you what part of speech it is. Like, is it a noun or a verb or an adjective? It'll tell you that. And it even tells you what the word means. Now, some words, as we know, have multiple meanings. We've explored that with context clues and all sorts of stuff like that. So as you're looking through with a dictionary, it'll help you to see all the different things that that word could possibly mean. It's really cool. So that's what a dictionary is. A glossary is just like a mini dictionary. And a glossary you're going to find at the end of a book, usually in a nonfiction book. Now, when you look through a glossary is also like a dictionary. It's going to be in alphabetical ABC order. It's going to tell you often how you pronounce those words, what part of speech. But the thing that makes a glossary different is that a glossary is only going to have that alphabetical list of the important vocabulary words that are in that book. And it will tell you how that word is used in that book. Not all of the different uses for it, just the ways it's going to be used in that book. So a dictionary is going to be bigger, way more words, and a glossary is our mini dictionary. It uses a lot of the same skills, looking at ABC order, looking at what our words mean, part of speech, how to pronounce it, all of that stuff, but a glossary is going to be a mini version. So today what we're going to do is we're going to practice with our remote learning how we're going to use a dictionary versus a glossary, okay? And we're going to use that with context clues, which I love. You know, I love context clues, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is if you're on Google Classroom, just follow along with me, and I'm going to set you free to explore on your own. If you're working in your remote learning packet, we are on the page that looks like this, okay? So let's go ahead. If you're working along with me, get something fun to write with. If you're on Google Classroom, just pay attention because you'll be able to use everything I say in this video to help you answer your questions, okay? So let's go ahead and get ready to learn. All right, scholars. So right now we're going to learn more about how we can use a dictionary or a glossary. Now, the important thing about a dictionary or a glossary is it helps you with that really precise meaning, exactly what that word means when it's in a sentence, when it's in a text, when it's in a passage in any way, okay? So we're going to read through this whole first part up here at the top, and much of this is on the poster that we just looked at. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to read through this, and then we're going to do a few of the words down here with you for practice. I'm not going to do all of it because I need you to show me what you're learning. Okay, so let's go ahead and read our introduction. It says, many words have more than one meaning or definition. You can use a dictionary or a glossary to check the exact meaning of a word or a phrase. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. A dictionary lists words in alphabetical order. Each entry gives the pronunciation, the part of speech, and the meaning of the word. So let's look at the one that they have for us here. This is the word plant. Okay, so first I have plant right here. Then here they're telling us how to pronounce it. They're saying we have that short A sound like it's an apple, plant. You don't say plaint, you say plant. And that little line, you see that over the A? That means it's the short sound. Okay, now there's a couple different meanings. The first way you can use plant is as a noun. And we know a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So a plant could be a seedling or it could be a factory, okay? Now, if you look, there's a little 1 next to seedling and 2 a factory. What those little number means is that they are just different definitions. Usually they put the most common one first and then the other ones that we don't use as much second. So usually when you think of a plant, you think of a seedling, but sometimes when you think of a plant, you could think of a factory. So for example, my dad works at a plant. He works at a factory, okay? He doesn't work at a seedling. So that's one way that plant is used. Now I also have right here a V, and V stands for verb. That is our action word. okay? So one of the ways it's used as a verb is to put seeds or seedlings into the ground to grow. So if you plant something, you could be putting seeds or seedling in the ground to grow. Now, the other way, number 4, says to set firmly in place. Now see right here where those words are all slanty, that's when they are in, say it with me, italics. So we've got those slanty words. And what that does right there is that's just using the word in a sentence to make it easier for you to understand. So when it says to set firmly in place, you might think, what does that mean? Well, what it means is Lee plants 4 stakes in the soil to mark the corners of his garden. So that's what a dictionary is. This is right there is called a dictionary entry. It gives you the word, it gives you its pronunciation, it tells you its part of speech, and its different meanings. It could be, some words can be a noun and a verb as we see here, or any other part of speech, okay? So now, how about a glossary? A glossary is like a dictionary. It is an alphabetical list of vocabulary words in a book. Each entry explains the meaning of a word as it is used in that book. So right here, let's look at this entry. Our word is pest. We see right here, we've got that short E sound because you have that little loop over the E, because you don't say peast, you say pest, okay? Now, what is a pest? One definition is a plant or an animal that causes a problem. And then right here, they have that sample sentence. Flies can be pests at a picnic. The other meaning could be an annoying person, okay? So those are our definitions. And see how the glossary entry looks a lot like the dictionary? It doesn't have as much information because it's just showing how the word is used in that book, okay? So when you're reading, if you want to find the right meaning of a word, you have to read all the definitions. Then you're going to see which meaning makes sense in the sentence that you are reading. So now that we've looked at our dictionary entry for plant and our glossary entry for pest, what we're going to do is we're going to do some practice. You're going to read through this passage. You're going to read it together. Then we're going to use the dictionary and the glossary entries above to find the meaning of these underlined words. Then you're going to write the number of the definition above the word. So, like for example, if it is definition 1, you'll put a 1, definition 2, you'll put a 2, etc., etc. Okay? So, and they give us a hint. We're going to think about this while we're going. Ask yourself how the underlined word is used. Is it a noun, meaning is it a person, place, or thing? Is it a verb, meaning it's an action word? After that, we're going to reread the sentence using the definition we chose and ask, does that make sense? So let's go ahead, we're going to read the whole paragraph first, and then we'll look sentence by sentence. So our paragraph says, and feel free to follow along and read with me, because you know good readers read together. So it says, after you plant flowers in your garden, you care for them. You plant poles in the ground to support any tall stems. You love your garden, but so do beetles. Some beetles eat plants. Try putting a birdhouse in your garden to attract birds. Many birds will eat pests, such as beetles. So, now we've read our paragraph, and we're just going to look at a couple of these sentences, and then I'm going to set you free. So let's look at the first one. Our first sentence says, after you plant flowers in your garden, you care for them. The first thing I want to think is, after you plant. That's my underlined word, so that's what I'm focusing on. I'm planting flowers in the garden. Now, I'm going to ask myself, what part of speech is that? How is that word being used? Is that a person, place, thing, or idea? Is it a noun? Or is it an action word or a verb? Well, it says, after you plant flowers. So that lets me know it's an action. So I'm going to think it's a verb. So now I know my part of speech. That's going to help me to find the definition. And I'm planting flowers in the garden. Now I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to look at my dictionary entry for plant. Now, I see 2 of them, a noun and a noun. Am I going to focus on those? Absolutely not. And the reason is because I know here in this sentence, I'm using plant as a verb. So that means I'm going to look at my other definitions, my definition 3 and definition 4, because those are the ones that are, after the V for verb. So definition 3 says to put seeds or seedlings into the ground to grow. Now, I'm going to try putting that in here. Instead of saying plant, I'm going to say that definition. So after you put seeds or seedlings into the garden to grow, which are those flowers in your garden, you care for them. Now, that's a lot of words, so because it's wordy, it might not make perfect sense, but I think that sounds pretty good because I know that flowers are seeds or seedlings, right? When you plant a flower, you plant a seed, or you plant like a small little flower, which is that seedling. So I think that definition makes pretty good sense rather. I'm sorry about that. Now, I'm going to try the other one just to make sure. How about definition 4, set firmly in place? After you set firmly in place flowers in your garden, you care for them. Does that definition make as much sense in that sentence as the other one? I don't think so, because my key words that help me to know that it's definition 3 is we talk about seeds or seedlings, and flowers are seeds and seedlings. See how I use that definition from the dictionary as well as the clues in the sentence to help me? This is my context clues. So now I know the number of the definition is number 3. So I'm going to put a little 3 above it. Whoops, there goes my pen rolling across. All right, so see how we did that? What's your job as you read through this to look at each sentence and do like we just did right there. First, you're going to want to think about how it's used. Is it a noun or a verb? Makes it very easy for you to get rid of some choices so you don't have to focus on them. Then once you know that, look at the definitions you have remaining. Look at the sentence, practice that context clue skills of plug it in, and then once you've done that, you'll be able to figure out its meaning. All right, excellent work. I'm going to let you tackle the rest of this paragraph on your own, because if I do all the work for you, then you're not going to be the ones learning. So I hope this was helpful. Let's go ahead and wrap up our video and our mini lesson on dictionaries and glossaries. All right, scholars, so that's going to wrap up our lesson today about dictionaries and glossaries. The big thing to remember is with both of these, it's just going to tell you all these awesome things about how that word is used. Both of them, both a dictionary and a glossary, is going to have its words in ABC or alphabetical order. It'll tell you the part of speech, meaning like is it a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, how that word is used. And it'll also tell you the meanings of those words. And as we saw with plant, there are many meanings for it. Okay? It's your job as you're reading and trying to figure out what that word means using the dictionary or the glossary to help you how that word is being used in that sentence with the meanings, context clues, plug it in, you know how to do that. A glossary, very similar to a dictionary, but instead of having all the meanings of the word, all the possible meanings, it's just going to focus on those words that are the important vocabulary words in the book and how those words are used in that book. Okay? So, good luck with your activity today. I'm very excited to see the ways that you are putting together everything we've learned about context clues, plus what we practiced today with our dictionaries and our glossaries as we find out the meaning of these unknown words. You're going to be looking at plant and pest with this first passage, and then on the next page or these next activities, you're going to be looking at the words gather and probe and spot, and it's going to be the exact same thing that we just did, just with shorter sentences, okay? Good luck, scholars. I am super proud of you. We are proud of you each and every single day for all the amazing things you're doing. And until next time, goodbye, scholars.